All right, you guys ready to go? You ready to go? All right, so first thing I want to talk about is kind of the evolution of real estate. And if you think about it, it was started, they've been doing real estate forever, but about 120 years ago, Coldwell Banker really was a trailblazer. Instead of just independent mom and pa selling ranches and cabins and whatever it was, they sold 120 years ago. Coldwell Banker organized it, created the franchise system, and people started selling. So how many superstar agents do you know from 120 years ago? Can anybody name one? Nope. The only people who can name are the Coldwell Banker people. It's two individuals. One's last name was Coldwell, the other one was Banker. They are the recruiters. They are the people who built a sales organization. Is Coldwell Banker a sales organization? Did it get purchased by $1 billion hedge fund called Realty, now called Anywhere, correct? Which I think Michael helped lead into 70 countries. No, you were Sotheby's, right? Yeah. You did. Yeah, he did. Let's write this down. Write this down. Do not let the facts get in the way of Brent's story. Okay, that's rule number one. Are you with me? I get things mixed up, like what time I'm speaking, and like I need handlers. I told him yesterday I need handlers. So the bottom line is, 60 years ago, who do we know? Well, we know Sotheby's, they recruited. We know Christie's, they recruited. We know Keller and Williams from the 80s, they recruited. We know Berkshire Hathaway, two last names, they recruited. Purchased by Warren Buffett, a billionaire. Gary Keller, Keller Williams, a billionaire. Dave Liniger, Remax, a billionaire. If you want to make a living, sell real estate. And I did it for decades and decades and decades. And it's great. I love people. If something happened, I go do it again. People are like, did you do this because you hated real estate? Nope. I love real estate. I love being here today. But here's the deal. Is a jackhammer a better way to get through concrete than a pick? Is a bulldozer with hydraulics a better way to dig a ditch 300 feet long, 5 feet deep? What would you rather have, a shovel or a bulldozer with a big old bucket on the back, right? And so there are better ways to do things. Remember how we used to, for those of us that are older, find homes? We had Thomas Guide map books. Did you have those up here? Only one old person remembers, okay? The rest of you are like, what's that? I just used my phone. Sorry, DK, you're not old, but I had to throw you under the bus a little bit. So things changed. Remember the BlackBerry? Or we called it the Crackberry? And they'd have to pull it out of your cold, dead fingers, and you eventually switched to this thing called smartphones or iPhones, all glass, no buttons. And did that help? Remember thermal fax machines? And the thermal paper that would start getting all messed up when it come out, you got to refax it. The thermal fax paper got messed up. How many of you like emailing of digital loan docs and that whole process? So times are changing. They will continue to change, and you have to change. Now, if you want to be at your desk in 20 years, keep doing what you're doing. Sell 500 homes a year. Sell 1,000 homes a year. And I'm not knocking production. By all means, you need production, especially in this market. I get it. You need production, but it doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to do both. You have to take the time. Coldwell Banker was selling real estate, and then they kind of took the time to burn the candle at both ends for a little bit, and they actually built the company. And then eventually they started doing well enough where they didn't have to sell real estate. I mean, be honest with yourself. Do you have to sell real estate? How would you like to do it if you didn't? Because you love doing it and there's no pressure on you because you have this other income source. So it's kind of an evolution. It's what everybody that we know, all the stars, Christie's fine auction house and art and real estate, recruiters. Everybody built a sales organization. Oh, I've tried that. It doesn't work. And when you're talking about a real estate team, there's a big difference. And so I want to ask you a question. For those of you that kind of get it, and you're like, hey, I want to do this attraction piece. I want to build a sales organization. It's like, I tried it. It didn't work. I tried listings and it didn't work. It took me 10 years later to go, you know what? I'm tired of working with buyers. I'm a little league coach. I'm a soccer coach. Had I been up here, I'd be a hockey coach. I was a coach because I wanted to be involved in my 8 children's lives. I have 8 kids. Not bad, huh? All girls. except for 4 boys. Now, so here's the deal. I was busy coaching and in tournaments and games, and I was getting yanked away to look at properties. And after a decade, I go, I've got to become a listing agent. Have you ever seen the listing agents? They have 10, 15, 20 listings, 30. Like, how do they do it? And you meet them, they're not overly impressive, but they committed themselves to figuring out how to become a listing agent. And my friends, if you want to have, even though it's still a job, even though you're trading time for dollars, I took 2 years and I was like a heat-seeking missile. I thought we were talking about attraction. I will in a minute. But I want you to understand how to become a listing agent, because you get your life back. I would work Tuesday through Thursday, take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. Tuesday through Thursday, take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. I had 18 to 28 active listings at all time. I played all weekend. You guys showed my listings all weekend. I come back, sell 3, 4, 5 homes, sell 3, 4, 5 homes every week. How many would like to have that kind of a life in real estate, right? And then if someone was snotty with you, they were non-coachable seller, 1.9 million, 3.9 million, you're like, no, thank you, bye-bye. How many of you ever listed a very nice, expensive piece of property? You knew that he or she was a little cray-cray, right? That inner voice says, this couple is nuts. But you go 3.5 million times 3%, and you're thinking, can I put up, by the way, real estate agents can calculate 3% of any number instantly. Have you noticed that? So you put up with that. Well, you get to the point in your career where you're like, not doing it. And I had 6 listing specialists to take the stuff that was 2 hours away, an hour away. Maybe I'm working I think I was working the $600 to $3 million price range in Sacramento, California, Northern California. And so anything under 600,000, 3, 4, 500,000, I just gave away to my listing agents. Anything where they were kind of uncoachable, I had some of my partner listing agents. They go, we'll take them. And so it's a process you go through. But once you go through that process, I still had to go on listing appointments every day, sometimes 2 times a day, 3 times a day. Why don't you go on listing appointments twice a day, 3 times a day? Because nobody's calling you. Why is nobody calling you? Because you haven't dedicated yourself on how to become a listing agent. Well, how do you do it? I'm going over my listing presentation. I'm going over my value proposition. That has nothing to do with it. Nothing. I need to understand what an HOA is, and closing statement, and closing costs, and this and that, and ethics and marketing. That has nothing to do with it. You want to become a listing agent? It's one thing and one thing only. Master lead generation for listings. Learn how to get sellers to call you. Do you have sellers calling you every single day, 2 and 3 times a day to list their homes? Do you? Okay, all right. 1 out of 400, right? But here's the deal. So your issue, if you want to feed your family in the short term and make sure the mortgage gets paid and the cars get paid, is you got to be tenacious. You got to be hungry. Write this down. Tony Robbins says it all the time. It's great. Hunger is your greatest asset. Some of you just aren't hungry. You're complacent. You're happy. Your spouse, she's a doctor. He's a doctor. She works for the state or the county. He works for the state or the county. You have this consistent income, great benefits, and and that's fine if that's what you want out of life. My wife took care of our kids. I was the sole breadwinner, so to speak, and I was not. I knew there was more. I was capable of more. And so, man, every listing agent, I'd invite them to coffee. I'd take them to lunch. I'd meet someone in Iowa. I'd fly to Des Moines. I'd meet someone in Oklahoma. I flew to Oklahoma City and drove out to Lawton. The number 1 Coldwell Banker agent in the world lived in Lawton, Oklahoma. I flew to Oklahoma City, drove 2 hours to Lawton, and sat there for a day shadowing him, which means I sat in the corner in a chair, shut my mouth, and just watched him work all day. I watched him, and it's a very small town, 100,000 people. At the end of the day, he goes, you want to go to dinner? I go, sure. We went to the only restaurant in town, the Golden Corral. It's a buffet. And he goes, so what'd you learn? I go, I learned you get all your leads from the radio. And I copied him, and I went on to have 18 to 28 listings. And people called me every day. Well, I can't afford the radio. Well, I couldn't afford it either. I started small. And the first 2 times I failed, the 3rd time I succeeded. Write this down. You want to win at real estate? The key to victory is failure. You guys are so, well, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to say anything weird. Listen to me. You must say weird, stupid stuff if you're going to make it. Like nobody's like, Babe Ruth, the year he set the record for home runs, he set the record for striking out. But nobody remembers that. Nobody struck out more than Babe Ruth, right? Wayne Gretzky, well, why'd you score so much? I had a knack for knowing where the puck was going, and I'd skate out, and I'd be the first one there, turn and fire on goal. He shot on goal more than anybody else, and he won. Guess what? I guarantee you he missed more than anybody else. Michael Jordan, I think they said, took the game-winning shot 85 times. He also missed the game-winning shot like 300 times. But nobody talks about that. Listen to me. You must get muddy. You must get dirty. You must say it wrong. If you're not leaving listing appointments or agent attraction appointments going, ugh, why did I say it that way? What is wrong with me? You're not on track. But if you do that every day, like I was doing every day, I'm like, God, they said this and I said that. And they just looked at me I'm like, oh, that's how you learn. Because next time I didn't say that. And when I said this and they responded, I go, ooh, when I do this, I get a positive result. So I learned. But you go on a listing appointment once a month. You go on an agent attraction appointment once every 3 months, once every 2 months. And you never become excellent at what you do. Randy Dick, you are, I believe, a kite surfer, foil surfer, something like that. Which is it?
Kite surfer.
Kite surfer. The first time, were you just magnificent? Were you just hell on waves? Magnificently bad. And how many years you been doing it for? 8 years. Are you better today 8 years later? Thank God he said that. All right, now. So, right? So, DK, stand up.
Yes, sir.
How much, what did you used to weigh?
215 pounds.
250, give him a hand. Doesn't he look great? He's handsome. What do you, if I was a woman, I'd take you out. You look good, man. All right. Anyway, he looks good, doesn't he? All right. I'm married with 8 kids on that. But anyway, so here's the deal. What do you weigh now?
Now I'm 185 but solid.
Yeah, but solid. Yeah, look at his big muscles. Good. So here's the deal. He had to suffer. He had to fail for it, but he wanted it bad enough. It is not magic. It's motion. Get motion when it comes into that. Get motion. Anything you do, but you don't do it enough. If you play golf once a year, you'll be terrible. You'll be the guy yelling, oh, 4, right? If you snow ski once a year. So the key is to fail in a very short period of time and invert your learning curve and get good quickly. You like that? Get good quickly? That's good English. Who wants to suffer slow and painfully? Nope. So I'm going to ask you to rate yourself 1 to 10. 1 to 10, I want you to write it on a piece of paper in front of you. It's only for you to know. I don't want you to be honest. How serious have you been about becoming a Coldwell Banker, a Sotheby's, a Remax, a Keller Williams, someone who's building a sales organization, someone like learning how to work with buyers is a learned skill. Learning how to lead generate for buyers or sellers is a learned skill. Learning how to do a listing presentation is a learned skill. People skills is a learned skill. The more you do it, the better you get. And so how many of you, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate yourself right now, and give you, 1 being terrible, 10, like, I'm very serious about agent attraction. I know I am. And honestly, I don't expect many people because most people are so busy with the short game. The short game is sales. I sell 60 homes a year. I sell 30 homes a year. I sell 130 homes a year. So everybody got your number? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being you're serious as a heart attack. Okay. All the 10s stand up. If you wrote a 10, wrote the number, stand up if you're a 10. 1, 2, 3, and someone going to the bathroom. No, I'm kidding. 4, 5. We have 5 people in this room. I did not expect anything else, okay? So that's important. Now, next question. Do your actions line up with that serious intent? So everyone rate yourself 1 to 10. Even if you put 7, 8, a lot of you put 8 or 9, then that's great. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad here. But now I want you to see, oh yes, I'm serious. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to the gym. Okay, let's look at your actions, right? So scale of 1 to 10, rate yourself. Are you a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? What is that number? Everyone got that number? Okay. Everybody who had a 10 or better with your actions in the level of your intensity and focus, stand up. If you're a 10, you are 10-10. Okay? So, a lot of people are like, well, you know, when I did this 7 years ago, you know what people said to me? EXP, what? Never heard of it, never work. Remax is the brand. Sotheby's is the brand. Compass is the brand. Keller Williams is the brand. Whatever it is. Royal LePage is the brand. It'll never work. Now they say, oh yeah, EXP, everyone's heard of it. So it wouldn't work because nobody's heard of it. It will work because it won't work because everybody's heard. Well, which is it? No, nobody's heard of it, or it won't work because everyone's heard of it. You know, any excuse will do. And so here's the deal. I can promise you this. I was a 10 and my actions were a 10. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. Now, my big goal was to my first year while I was listing and personally listing all those homes and selling real estate and going on 1 or 2 listing appointments every day, 1 or 2 every day, sometimes 3, but only worked Monday through Thursday. Full disclosure, I golf every Friday morning, have for 25 years. It's just what I do. I hope you kite surf every Saturday morning, or you do hot yoga every Sunday morning, or go to church, or whatever it is you do to feed your soul. Go hiking every Wednesday, but you do it religiously. I mean, you don't bend for a $10 million listing. You say, I'm booked, I cannot do it. You don't tell them that you're laying in a hammock, enjoying the day and smelling the flowers and are you with me? Planting your organic garden. But if you're here today and you work 7 days a week, I absolutely think you're making a mistake. Everyone's successful CEOs, they don't take a month off. They take a lot of 2 and 3 day weekends. They take lots of 3-day weekends. They only take a week off, maybe twice a year. They certainly don't take a month off. Now, when you're established and you got it together, you can leave for 3 weeks, a month. You could do that sort of thing. But here's the deal. Here's what I decided to do. I'm going to sponsor 10 to 15 people in my first year. And then hopefully, I didn't know it worked. How'd you know I didn't? Hopefully they'll tell people who tell people. I'll have 80 to 100 people in my EXP organization year 1. That was my big plan. And then if that worked, year 2, I'm going to sponsor 10 to 15 more year 2. And then they'll bring another 80 to 100. So at the end of 2 years, I would have how many? 160 to 200 agents in my sales organization, because that's what it is. We're all doing sales. And then that would make me about 140 to 150,000 a year, which is, I was making way more than that in real estate. But now I have something coming in kind of outside of what I was doing. Are you with me? And I was in my 50s. I'm like, I got to retire sometime. I'm not going to buy a timeshare. I'm not going to buy a boat. I'm not going to buy a motorhome. I'm not going to buy a depreciating asset, a Cadillac Escalade or Range Rover. Those are depreciating assets. I'm going to actually take that 140,000 and I'm going to keep making my mortgage payment, but I'm going to pay an extra 140 to the principal every year. I'm going to pay off my house. I'm going to hand my wife the keys to a house, which I did, and paid off. That was my big goal at EXP. Did I plan on this happening? No. So what did I actually do? 5 points and we're done. I'm going to give you how I did what I did. And by the way, in 17 months, I was making $100,000. How many would feel if you're making $100,000 in 17 months? Would that be good? And you think, that's not that good. I make 4, 5, 600,000. No. From your investments, from your other outside activities, you have 100,000 a year of cash flow. Do you? I mean, that's something else. Cash flow is something else. By the way, it was 100,000 a month, not a year. In 17 months, it was 100,000 a month. My second year, I made $1,286,000 outside of real estate. So what I did was I said, I'm going to focus on the agents. I'm going to do what Coldwell Banker did. I'm going to do what Keller Williams did. I'm going to do what Berkshire Hathaway did. I'm going to do what Sotheby's did. I'm going to do what Dave Lindiger from Remax did. I'm going to do what Royal LePage. I assume those are 2 people's last names. The people who recruit help make the most money. The people says, I'm not into that recruiting thing. I'm just going to help me and mine. They're just a blemish. They're just like who? I don't even remember them. Howard Brinton. Raise your hand if you remember Howard Brinton. Handful of people. He was a mega star in real estate. Went on to become a trainer. Famous guy 20, 25 years ago. And most of you are like, Howard who? Howard Brinton, don't even know him. Because he didn't build a sales organization. He was the biggest star in real estate 20, 25 years ago. You guys don't even know him. It's just another 10 years, one person in the room will go, Howard Brent, yeah, I know. He was the biggest star He was Wayne Gretzky of real estate, and nobody knows him. And it's like, so is this all about being known? No. If something happened to me today, my income wouldn't falter. It wouldn't even change. If something happened to you today, can your husband do what you do? Can your wife do what you do? I knew the truth when I was running my team, and the intensity and passion I put in running my team, my wife could not do what I do. Her income would have dropped to zero in a flash. So here's what I did, 5 points. Number one, when I saw how to make 2.1 million, I go, this is interesting. I go, if it's a quarter of that, I'm in. If it's 500,000 here, if it's 300,000 here, I'm in. And so, but there is a kind of a 5-year plan to make 2.1 million a year every year, not just a one-time payoff. And number one was my story. I shared that with you. Number two is the 2.1 million. I only have 5 points. Number three, so here was my goal, and I told you that. I guess I jumped ahead a little bit in my notes, was to sponsor 10 or 15 year one, okay? And do it again year two and see kind of what happened. And maybe 5, 6, 7 years from now, have 4, 5, 6, 700 agents and make 300,000-400,000 a year for retirement, and just spend none of it on trips to Hawaii, spas for the backyard, no depreciating assets. Are you with me? What are we great at doing? Buying depreciating assets, new car, new boat, timeshare trips, blah, blah, blah. So that was number three. Number four, my plan. So I'm going to end up with two things, number four and number five. Number one, my plan. Every Friday, I said, I'm busy. How many think I was busy? And the only free time I had was Fridays in the afternoon. I golf in the mornings. I always go into the office, have a cup of coffee, play with the files, set up an open house or two. I'd pop in for 2 or 3 hours and pop out Friday afternoons. That was about it. I didn't even consider it work. So I said, I'm going to redeem that time. From 2 to 5 Friday afternoons, I'm going to call agents. I'm going to call agents. Some of you are like, well, I don't know anyone. What you focus on expands. Go meet people. Find a way to meet people, okay? Figure it out. So that's what I did from 2 to 5. Ask me how many times I missed. Answer, never. I never missed. At 2 o'clock, I was in a conference room with very plain walls and a list of names. I built a list of names of 250 people. I went to Instagram. I went to Facebook. I printed every contact I had on Facebook. Don't know him, don't know him, don't know him, don't know him. Ooh, I know that person. Put them on the list. Don't know him, don't know him, don't know him. I mean, how many people you have on your Facebook? Your friends, but you really don't even know them. I went through old clients I had. I went through agents I had done deals with. I went from LaTip and BNI. I opened my phone, started with the A's. Albert, Andrew, Anthony, etc. Andy. And I'm like, no. Oh, this guy's a real estate agent. And then I realized I can call anybody. You don't get a real estate license. But I went through the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's, E, F, G's. And when I got to G's, I was done. I had a list of 250 names. And I started calling them Friday afternoons from 2 to 5. I called 3 to 5 people, not 35 people, 3 to 5 of them. Had open, honest dialogue about their future. Sometimes I talked to 7. And guess what I did? I set up coffee appointments for the next week. What I did that made me 100,000, not a year, but a month, within 17 months. I did something, I was a 10 out of 10. I was a 10 in my focus and intensity, and my actions backed it up at the 10, and I don't miss my schedule. And nobody in this entire room, because you say, well, it's different here in Canada. Okay, you've got me sold. Enjoy selling real estate. But the agents respond differently than you American agents. I get it. It's probably true. They probably don't respond as well. Okay, you've won the argument. Enjoy whatever it is you're doing, because you're going to be doing it. I'll find you at your desk setting up more listing appointments and more buyer showings and managing your team in 10 years. I will find you at your desk. And it might be an EXP desk. See, I was a 10 out of 10. And guess what? I called people and said, have coffee with me next week. I'm too busy. I go, you're not too busy. We've been friends a long time. I just asked, I don't want to leave Remax. I go, stay at Remax for 30 years. Now, can we have coffee? I don't want to leave Royal LePage. Stay at Royal LePage for the next 20 years. Can we have coffee next week? We're friends. Remember that? Friends. You and me, friend. Okay, Brent, because it's you. Keith, because it's you. Jennifer, because it's you, yes. But I'm not leaving Coldwell Banker. I go, stay there for 40 years. I don't care. Can we have coffee? Some of you are just like, oh, me, what do they know? And guess what I did? Every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I had coffee with an agent from another brokerage. And then a lot of times, like, look, I drop off my keys. We got kids, same thing. Kids every morning. I can't do mornings. It does not work for me. Tuesdays and Thursdays I did. Okay, lunch. You got Tuesday or Thursday. What's it going to be? We're having lunch. And I'd meet them Tuesdays or Thursdays for lunch. I always met up at a mortgage company or a title company, and because I could control the environment. Not at coffee shops, not at restaurants. You can't control the environment. Okay, and I would call them and said, hey, I'm bringing in Keith. I'm bringing in Jen. I'm bringing in Randy Dick. Really, Randy Dick from Roll Page? Yeah, Randy Dick. Keith from Remax? Yeah, Keith. Oh my gosh, can we use your conference room? Heck, you're bringing them into the Lions Den. You're bringing them into the title company. You're going to bring DK into our mortgage company. DK's coming? Yeah. I go, is it okay if we have a little food and drink? Oh yeah, what do you want? We'll get it for you. They would cater my lunches. I didn't ask them to. And I said, yeah, I'll definitely introduce you. Maybe you can do some loans for DK. Maybe you can do some title business. And so I always did it at mortgage companies and title companies that I knew. And I would do 7:30 coffees at the mortgage or title, not coffee shops or restaurants. Understand that. And I press play. Find your Canadian video of how EXP works. Well, it's not updated because we have Revenue Share 2.0. Just tell them it's better. It's better now. It's easier. Don't be all hung up on it. I still play the videos and I go, do you like the concept? And then if they don't like the concept, if they like the concept, then we get into the 2.0, how we made it even better, and we go over the changes. It's irrelevant because if you like this, the new one's even better. And so I would do that, and I never missed. So if I do it at 7:30, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and lunch Tuesday, Thursday, like, well, people know Show Me. They didn't know Show Me. Hey, Randy, I can't wait to see you Tuesday morning for coffee. That was Sunday. Monday, hey, I'll see you tomorrow morning for coffee at 7:30. That night, don't forget, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 for coffee. That morning at 7 a.m., hey, can't wait to see you. I'm on my way to get the bagels and the coffee in 5 minutes. And then he's going to see one of those texts. They never missed. I didn't have no show rate. Okay, so that's important to say. So if I'm doing it 4 mornings, Monday through Thursday at 7:30, and 2 lunches, how many people am I exposing EXP to a week? How many? 6. Write this down. Success is a math equation. Success gets down to the numbers. I talk to 6 people every week. Times a typical 4-week, forget the 5-week month. Most months are 4. How many people am I talking to a month about EXP? 24. Now, my goal was to tell 10 or 15 my first year. Well, the first month I talked to 24, 5 enrolled. 19 told me no, not now, maybe later. I just moved to Coldwell Banker. I just moved to Royal LePage. I just took a check from Compass for $200,000. I can't move. And so guess what? They didn't move. 19 told me no too. We'll see how it goes for you, Brent. I am not interested in this at all. All right, thanks. Thanks for meeting with me. I wasn't good. How do you talk them into it? I didn't. I found the ones who wanted to do it. And little asterisk, I only talk to people who are selling 10 homes a year or more. If they weren't selling 10 homes a year or more, I'm not talking to them. You talk to anyone, stop it. Now, I did talk to a few people, their trajectory was north, they didn't even have a real estate license. I go, watch this video. Why? Just, you're my friend, because we're friends, we're gonna watch this video. And each of those people have about 1,200 agents in their organization today. They know nothing about real estate, but they have an organization of 1,200 agents. They outproduce anyone in this room, and they don't know what a purchase agreement is, what an addendum is, and a counteroffer. And they're fully retired after 3 years and make so much crazy money, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they don't know anything about real estate because they did what? They did what Coldwell Banker did. So the next month, I did it again. Explained it to 26 people or 24 people, 5 enrolled. The next month I did it again, 5 enrolled. The next month, 5 enrolled. In 3 months, I enrolled 15. My goal was to do 10 to 15 a year. I did 15 in 3 months. At the end of 5 months, I enrolled 25 people for EXP, listed 25 agents. Do you know something interesting? In that same period, I listed 25 homes. I started giving away listings to my listing agents, taking the low-hanging fruit, creating a little bit more margin because I could see it was working. What I mean by that is my first 10 days, I made $1,900 in revenue share. My first full month, it was $5,000. That's $60,000 a year. The second full month, it was $10,000 a month, which is $120,000 a year. Third full month in EXP, it was 10. It was the same 2 months in a row. The fourth full month, it was $27,000 a month. I don't know what your house payment is. I don't know what your car payment is. But remember, I was a 10 out of 10. Nobody in this room was a 10 out of 10. You know what? Well, it was in California for years before I got there, and it wasn't working. But it's not that. It's you. It's me. And I don't mean that. It's like, you got to do the work. If you want to become a great kite surfer, if you want to be 180 pounds solid and feel great about yourself, it's not magic, it's motion, it's doing the work. There's 20 million agents in this world. We have 90,000 of them. 19,900,000 are not with us. There is so much room for growth. It is crazy. Right now, the market's just pulling back and everybody's seen it. We are too. Agents are suffering. The market is tougher. I get that. But you could say, oh, but you could toughen up and do it. So here's the deal. In those 5 months, I crossed the finish line. Here's the beginning line. Here's the middle. And here's the end. And real estate, this is real estate. My dad's here. You met him yesterday. Where are you, Dad? You out there somewhere? Where are you, Pops? Stand up. Give my dad a hand if you haven't met him, Jim Gove. He goes, I so wish your mom and I had this opportunity. We worked 55 years. They closed their last deal, the last 25 years at Coldwell Banker. They got their last check 12 years ago. They worked till 12 years ago. It doesn't, the second you stop doing real estate, you stop getting paid. They haven't received $1 after they close their last escrow. You are paid to produce escrows. You will trade time for dollars for those escrows. He didn't have this opportunity, but you do, and you're squandering it. You're like, well, I tried, it doesn't work. That's like saying I tried to be a listing agent and it didn't work for me, therefore I can never be a listing agent. I tried to lose weight. I joined Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers. It didn't work. I'm gonna just be this way the rest of my life. Is that true? No, it's not true. And so here's the deal. There's a finish line for the first time in real estate. And it really requires you stepping into this with some maturity. And so that was number 4 was my plan. Finally, number 5, and I'm done. What I did to put the cherry on top, what I did that caused it to explode, EXP Con Miami. It was Fort Lauderdale 7 years ago. It's in Miami. It's October 27th through like the 30th. Does anybody know what the temperature is in Vancouver end of October? Give me the temperature here. What do you think it's going to be? 10 degrees Celsius? What is that? In my world, we use the other number. What does that equal? What? 50. 50 degrees? Cold and it rains 10% of the time? 20? How does it rain? 90% of the time. So you need to go to Miami in the end of October. I brought 19 people with me that I'd talked to. Not my group, but in my people that I had sponsored, I brought 19. Nobody ever does this, by the way. But to me, it just made sense. I wanted them to get the vision I had. And it was game over. It exploded. I mean, within 13 months, I was earning $55,000 a month. That's $600,000 a year. You could be making $55,000 a month in 13 months if you do what I did, but people just don't do what I did. Why? Because look at me, you can't do it. I forbid you to do it. You're not capable of doing what I described, of calling people 3 hours every Friday and having coffee every day at a mortgage company or a title company and pressing play. Don't explain it. That's not duplicatable. Pressing play. The video was an hour and 10 minutes long. Press play. It was long. It was really hokey. And I sponsored 5 every month. What about the ones who said no? Who cares? If they said no, I was down the road. I didn't talk them into it. I found people who wanted to do it, who were selling 10 or more homes a year, and it was game over. Does this make sense? And so what happened was, I'll end with this, 17 months to $100,000 a month. My rev share, my 17th month hit $118,000. First time I broke 100, and it broke it by $18,000. Who would just like to make $18,000 a month rev share? I had to go for 100, and it was the $18,000 tip for the month, not the year. Is that good? So I go, I'm not listing homes anymore. I gave my listing agents every single listing from that day on. I took a referral fee on all of them. I said, I'm going to focus on the agents. This is my closing thought. I'm going to actually, instead of help homeowners with the dream of homeownership here in Canada, I'm going to help the agents. And I took 100% of my efforts instead of like half or 30% of my efforts, and I completely focused on you guys. 8 months later, my income doubled. And went to $250,000 a month. How many like to make $250,000 a year? Yeah, you're special. And then I kept focused on the agents. And I worked 30, 40, 50 hours a week at that time. Easy. I did, just like in real estate. And then it doubled again to 500,000 a month, then 600,000 a month, then 700,000 a month, then 800,000 a month. How many have 800,000 a year? Do you imagine a month? Today, we travel the world. Why? Because I had the guts to call agents every single Friday. And I met some rude ones who said, why are you calling me? I don't want to talk to you. I'm like, hey, okay, fine. Maybe 10. But I had 149 of them say, yeah, I'll have coffee with you. Couldn't hurt. You'll hear the same thing. Yeah, it couldn't hurt. I'm not interested. I go, listen to me. Stay at Compass for 30 years. Now, can we have coffee? But you want to get me into your deal. I go, of course, if you want to do it, I'd be excited to have you. But mainly, I just want to talk to you about the concept and I want to know why you're not doing it. Because this is the largest real estate company in the world now that's not a franchise. And we're going to pass all the franchises in 2 or 3 years. And I know people you don't even know that make $10,000, $15,000 a month. They don't worry about their house payment or their car payments from revenue share. I know people, everyone I know who was selling 40, 50, 60 homes a year, got $4, $5, $6 million worth of stock. They paid off their homes. They paid off their parents' home. I want to know why you're not doing it. Okay, well, no, I want to have coffee with you next week. Remember, we're friends. And I showed it to 149 people. And 48 of them, it was actually 48 of them, switched companies that first year. But listen to me, you can't do it. You're not capable of calling people from 2 to 5 every Friday or Sunday nights 5 to 8. You're not capable. I mean, who am I to say that? I'm being kind of ridiculous. But you got to decide, I'll do both. I was done around 8:30 every morning. I did real estate the rest of the day. That's what I did. And then Fridays, 2 to 5, I called agents, booked appointments for the next week. And I didn't talk to new agents. I ran, say no to drugs. New agents are low-hanging fruit. And somebody's like, well, I'm a new agent. I know, I wanted to talk to you. I was talking to agents who were selling 10 homes a year. They knew how to do real estate. They know how to use the MLS. And they had friends. New agents have friends. The failure rate for a new agent right now is 95%. 95% fail. And then I got 10, 20, they're all new agents. They're not selling, and there's a huge failure rate. It's not working. It's not working because you don't have standards. Motel 6, do you have that up here in Canada? Well, they have it in the US. What's your most inexpensive hotel in Canada? The Journey's End. Because that's where your journey's going to end. Right? Motel 6 says we'll leave the porch light on because you will get mugged if we don't on the way to your room. Right? But they're customers anybody, and it's $39 to spend the night, $49 to spend the night. But guess what? The Holiday Inn knows who their clients are. The Marriott, the Ritz, the Westin, the Four Seasons, they know who their customers are. Sotheby's knows. Do you know? I enrolled agents who were excited about EXP who wanted to do revenue share. If they wanted the stock, they're out. If they wanted to just sell, they were out. I was that kind of radical about it. So that's why it exploded for me, because I built a winning team. I hope this was helpful. And so here's what I want you to do. What is your next step, every one of you? Buy your ticket today for EXPCon Miami. Get out of this cold, wet, rainy weather, end of October. Come hang out with me. I will be there in the palm trees and the sun in Miami. It's a fun town. You deserve a break, a vacation, and bring people with you. I brought 19. I think that you are not capable of doing that. I'm trying to bait some of you, right? Do you know that? Well, I might have to buy an airline ticket. I might have to chip in for a hotel room. I might have to do what you got to do. Do you know that children spend $50,000 a year on college? 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. The average cost is $50,000 US. What's that Canadian, roughly? 80,000 a year Canadian. The average young 18, 19, 20-year-old Canadian spends 80,000 a year Canadian on college. Is it free up here? It's probably free up here. I just feel it's like healthcare, right? But here's the deal. They're doing that. What do you invest in your business? I bought a few airline tickets. I paid for a few hotel rooms. I bought a few event tickets. And I scratched, crawled, and begged, and I got 19 people to show up. They got the vision. 5 exploded out of those 19. What about the other 14? I don't know. 19 people go to Jenny Craig. 5 make it. Is Jenny Craig a fraud? How many members are at your gym? 5,000. Who's there? 50. Is the gym a fraud? Is there something wrong with the gym? Does every student that go to college get an A, graduate valedictorian? No. I only got A's in citizenship and PE, right? I'm thinking high school because I never completed college. I was a dishwasher. Then I got into sales, and I got into real estate at 29, and I'm be 59 this next March. I've done dishwashing, sold some pagers and cell phones, and did real estate. That's my complete and total experience. And I'm telling you, I want to help you do this. John Sy and Crystal Sy want to help you do this. Jennifer and Keith, Randy, Dick. There are so many stars in this room that will pour into you. And you're like, no, I don't do that sort of thing. Doesn't work here. And, it works if you work it. It's not magic, it's motion. Sign up for EXPCon Miami today. Thank you for having me.